Bonus story: the power of his recitation. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was unlettered. He could not read or write, yet from his lips flowed words so perfect that even his enemies would be in awe. Every night when the streets of Makkah fell silent, the Prophet ﷺ stood in tahajjud prayer reciting the Quran. And one night, 3 of Makkah's chiefs, Abu Sufyan, Abu Jahl and Al-Aqnas, all known then for their opposition to Islam, slipped quietly from their homes, each drawn by a single voice, the voice of the Prophet ﷺ. The rhythm of the verses filled the night air, measured, calm, and unlike anything they had heard before. Each man hid alone, listening in secret, not knowing the others were doing the same. When dawn broke, the Prophet ﷺ's voice faded, and the men crept away. But as they turned the corner, they bumped into each other, and they froze, caught in the act. For a long moment, none spoke. Then they muttered excuses and swore never to return, and went their separate ways. But the next night, each of them came back, and again the night after that, for the Quran had reached them in a way they could not explain. Finally, after the third night, they met once more in the great light of dawn, ashamed yet unable to deny why they were there. So they made a pact to stop, fearing they'd be seen by others and exposed as hypocrites. Before Umar ibn al-Khattab converted to Islam, he was actually an enemy. One day he decided to go to the Haram. He found the Prophet ﷺ alone, praying in front of the Kaaba. Umar thought this would be a perfect time to attack, as the Prophet was alone without any witnesses. He crept up behind him, but before he could reach the Prophet ﷺ, he was taken back by the beauty of the recitation. The Prophet ﷺ was oblivious to his presence and recited Surah Al-Haqqah. Umar was amazed at its rhythm and its composition. So Umar stood behind him, listening to the verses. Umar then thought to himself, "By Allah, this is the speech of a poet." As soon as he thought this, the Prophet ﷺ read the verse, "It is not the word of a poet, little do you believe." Then he thought, it must be a soothsayer. And the next verse was, "No, it is the word of a soothsayer, little do you reflect." Then he thought, where is this from then? And the next verse was, "It is a revelation from the Lord of the worlds." And at that moment, Umar thought, what if he was inventing it? The next verse were, "Had the messenger made something up in our name, we would have certainly seized him by his right hand and then severed his aorta." That night, a heart began to change, and Umar left without harming the Prophet ﷺ. There was a famous incident that spread wide with people thinking that the Quraysh had accepted Islam. This was when the Prophet ﷺ recited Surah Al-Najm in public. As he recited the surah in its entirety, people gathered slowly. His voice rose over the crowd, clear, steady, and filled with power. And when he reached the final verse, "Prostrate to Allah and worship Him," not only did the Muslims immediately prostrate, but the pagans of the Quraysh were so overwhelmed and captivated that they could not help and fall into prostration too. That night they bowed, not to the man, but to the message he carried, the Quran, beauty beyond measure, the living proof of prophethood.